So what is your favorite kung fu film of all time?
So I don't have one. I can't do one. I mean, basically, it's.
We'll use the high fidelity system.
What's that?
Top 5.
Top 5. All that I can do. Okay, so basically, I'm going to choose all the works of a filmmaker. The guy on the cover here, this guy down here, La Kaliong, as he's known, or Liu Chaoliang, his entire oeuvre is one selection, which is 36 Chamber Shaolin, Return to the 36 Chamber, Heroes of the East, Executions from Shaolin, Dirty Ho, it's not what you think it is, 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, Legendary Weapons of China, etc., etc. He made quintessential Kung Fu movies, so that's one. The second one probably be Kung Fu Panda, Hero, Shaolin Soccer, and Once Upon a Time in China 2.
Not 1?
No, I like 2 better.
Okay.
1 is great, but 2 is better.
Okay.
So there's Jet Li, Jackie Chan. Did I do Jackie Chan? I don't think I did any Jackie Chan. Well, anyway, Jackie Chan did some great stuff too.
And speaking of the actors, what's your favorite actor?
Oh, I can't choose one of them either. I've known Jackie Chan the longest. We are the friendliest. But Jackie hasn't made, he made the Karate Kid and the Police Story movies and the Project A movies and Drunken Master and the Drunken Master series, and that's great, but he hasn't really made consistently great Kung Fu movies.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's made consistently great ones is Jet Li.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't feel secure enough in his acting to star in Crouching Tiger. They wanted him to star in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon originally, but he wasn't secure enough in his acting. It wasn't until The Warlords, which was a couple of years ago, that he got the award for Best Actor, and he's feeling more comfortable in his acting ability now. So, but in terms of pure Kung Fu guys, it would probably have to narrow down to Jet Li, although Chow Yun-fat is a better actor, and there's a bunch of, and I love Jackie, and I love La Kaliong and Gordon Liu and Stephen Chow, and the rest of them, but it'll have to, if push comes to shove, it'll have to be Jet Li.
Okay.
Just for his output.
And is there a particular genre that you prefer over others in terms of the category?
Well, there's only really 2 kinds. I mean, there's Kung Fu and there's Wuxia.
Mm-hmm.
Wuxia, W-U-X-I-A, they've got a movie, a new Donnie Yen movie. I shouldn't leave out Donnie Yen, he's made some great movies. And he's now the king of Kung Fu presently in the Kung Fu world. Wuxia is heroic chivalry, that's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of stuff. It's basically equatable, as I say in the first chapter, to the world of superheroes that we have, the DC world and the Marvel universe. In that it's recognizable, alternate sort of Chinese world of flying swordsmen. But Ang Lee in Crouching Tiger was able to finally make the connection that their bodies were doing what their hearts could not, because they were really kind of locked down people emotionally. So then suddenly they were flying. But basically my favorite kind of Kung Fu film is what I call gravity Kung Fu. I do not like wires. Nobody who loves Kung Fu likes wire movies. Don't like movies where wires are attached to people. Because the whole nature of Kung Fu is you need your balance and you need your stance. And wires rob you of both of those things. And they make you look awkward, and it takes away the reality of it. What I fell in love with when I started seeing these things back in 1978, really, with Drunken Master, a.k.a. Drunken Monkey in a Tiger's Eye, Jackie Chan movie, was that these guys were actually doing this stuff. It was a superhero movie come to life. They weren't attached to wires. There was no special effects. There wasn't any CGI. These guys were actually doing these astonishing things with their bodies in real time, right on the screen. And so that's the stuff that I love. So I love, it's kind of like if they attached wires to Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Right.
want to see them do the dancing. You don't want to see them doing it with special effects. And although they did put in the tapping noises behind, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's for those dance movies. You want to see these guys actually doing this stuff. So when they put in CGI and they put in wires, it's just
Well, that was the beautiful thing about Kung Fu Panda, because
Right.
it was animated. It was just
well, that's what everybody
limitless.
thought. At the same time Kung Fu Panda was being ready for release, they were readying Forbidden Kingdom for release, and that had Jet Li and Jackie Chan starring, with Yuen Woo-ping, who's generally known as one of the great Kung Fu choreographers of the world, all working on an American film. The 2 movies came out like within a week of each other, and Forbidden Kingdom got it 100% wrong, and Kung Fu Panda got it 100% right. The characters in Kung Fu Panda have more weight and gravity than anything in Forbidden Kingdom.
I would agree with that. that.
I mean, it was a perfect example of how Americans don't understand Kung Fu at all and force Asians or Chinese in this case who do understand Kung Fu from not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I am certain, I haven't talked to Jackie or Jed or Yun about this, but the next time I see them I will. Did they tell you to do mixed martial arts?
Yeah.
And I'm almost guaranteeing they did. Because there was no Kung Fu in that movie.
Well, and it was more about style. It was all style. There
It
was
was all
no
crap.
substance to it.
Well, that's my favorite thing.
Looked pretty.
Do you know what mixed martial arts is mixed with? Crap.
Crap.
Thank you. Okay, it's a joke. It's a joke, all you mixed martial artists. You're doing good work. Keep it up. Anyway.
Next question.
Yeah.
So, what did you enjoy the most about writing this book?
Writing the book. Writing is a great joy for me. I am not a person who, as anybody who reads me knows, I'm not tortured by style. My first published work was back in like 1973 or 4. So I've done this a long time. So it's not like I'm great. It's just that I've learned something in that time. And so when I sit down to write, it's a pleasure. It's like greeting an old friend. A friend of mine is a paratrooper, and I once asked him if it was scary to jump out of a plane. He said, no, it's not scary at all to jump out of a plane. Going from your seat on the plane to the door of the plane, that's scary. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I feel about writing. So when I'm sitting in front of the TV, or I'm out having a wonderful meal at a restaurant, oh, I gotta go home and work, I don't want to do that, I want to have fun. And so, but when I finally get to the computer and I start, it's like, whee, it's flying, it's out of the plane. So writing the book, also having just come from the screenplay, and knowing that the other guys, what they were doing with my screenplay, I sort of went, this is mine, it's 100% mine. That's why while I lived out in LA for a while and worked on television shows and movies, I came back to work exclusively on books because I like having all the power. And when you work on film and television, it is a committee kind of thing. And sometimes the other members of the committee are insane. Like 80% usually are insane. And they'll say things to get their way, or, because sometimes I call it show business, which is BISS, which means because I said so. And Orson Welles said many years ago that Hollywood is not about money, it's about ego. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're right, Orson, it is. So I come back, and when I write, I'm just flying and free and fun, and I get to
no wires.
No wires, and and then the process of editing and then finally the publisher had to take this book away from me because I kept on changing things. The preface and the list in the back and the description of the list in the back were all last-second additions because I'm going, I got to do more, and finally she went, get away, back off. So that's what happened. So yeah, everything was a pleasure about writing the book.
And is there anything specific that you'd like people to take away after reading this?
The book, just the book.
Just the book.
Give me. How much is it? It's $14.95 or $14.99. Just give me $14.99 and take the book away, and I'm happy. There's one thing I would change, though. There is one thing I would change, and that is originally the cover was designed to be a satire of the movie poster. Originally, the movie poster was essentially this. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice there's a little patch over, it says the Kung Fu movie book, but the book part of it is like a little patch taped over.
Right.
So it was supposed to be taped over the Kung Fu movie. And the whole thing would have been so funny because you would have put the poster of the movie next to the poster of the book, and one would say the Kung Fu movie, the other one would say Kung Fu movie book, and they would look exactly the same. Well, they don't look the same anymore. Because of the book production and the movie production is different times. They completely changed. We finished, we locked this in, we got it designed. This book cover is designed by 3 wonderful people, John Agostini, Stephen Sloan, who did the animation for the movie, as well as Greg Spolenka, who designed the Narnia movies, a wonderful friend of mine who contributed to this. They did a terrific job, I thought. But the only reason I would have chosen this font, this sort of Chinese fake font, this chop suey font, was because it was, Chinese takeout, because it was the same as the movie. Mm-hmm. But I would have done it differently had I not known it was not going to be, it was going to be, I would have done that, the font is better and all the rest of it. And I had much more control over the my new book. Ding. Ding. For 1 week only, The World of Exploitation Films. Now this package is one that I, was not based on anything else that I'm deliriously happy with in terms of how it came out. I'm also deliriously happy with the book. And I'm deliriously happy with this book too, but I would have changed the front cover, probably not the back cover. I probably would have kept the back cover the same. It has the little caricature of me that was drawn by the Nickelodeon people and the guys. You can see Donnie Yen there and Jet Li and Poe and of course Stephen Chow. So there we go. Open that up again. And the publisher.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, more than my pleasure.
Invading your evening.
It's always a pleasure. You can come see me at ricmeyers.com, and Ric Meyers is spelled the way the book Ric Meyers is. Leave the K off Rick for karma.
You'll see the link on
yes.
side of the screen.
That screen over there.
It's
and you can also
first on the Friends of the Critic list.
And put on the filmsoffury.com site as well, which is the movie site, where you can buy my book on my site. You can buy it on Amazon. You can the movie. You can get it on the movie website as well, and you can find out all the latest. I will tell you that as of a couple of days ago, we have signed, the producer signed an American distributor. We already had a European international distributor for the movie, and now we have an American distributor called Phase 4 Films. So we're very excited about that. They're a terrific group, and we're hoping that they give us wonderful promotion. We'll find out, and if you go to the site, maybe your site, my site, all the rest of it, we'll find out whether it's going to go directly to video on demand or DVD or even a theatrical release, but we're going to premiere it at the San Diego Comic-Con. So again,
go to San Diego.
Yep.
This is the Insatiable Critic, signing off.